Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I want to thank you all for being here today and watching. I want to thank all of our new subscribers and our old subscribers. It's 100% free to subscribe, and if you're new, I want to welcome you. And if you're returning to the channel, welcome back. Today we're going to go through some 1968 Topps baseball. It's the set I am the closest to completing, and I'm really excited about that. As I've been going on this journey with you guys in terms of discovering, kind of revisiting my vintage sets and where I'm at, I've been finding out that I have some cards that I didn't really think I had. So that's kind of a good thing to discover. This set isn't a binder, so as typically I tend to do when I'm looking at a set in a binder, I'm going to freehand this one, so bear with me. But before we get to that, I just wanted to show you a card that I got this week in the mail. This is a Norm Snead card. I bought it on eBay. Pretty nice condition for this Norm Snead. This is one of the cards I was missing, I think, from my 1969 Topps football set, which I did do a video on the channel about. I realized as I was doing that video that I had everybody I needed for that set in terms of the big players. So I was like, all right, I got to concentrate on finishing it. So this is the second card I've picked up of that 13 that I needed. So we should be down to about 11 cards now. This one will go into the binder after this video. From that point, let's get into the 1968 set. The 1968 set is comprised of 598 cards. And what I'm going to take you through is some of the big dogs that I have from the 1968 set, along with some of the game cards that were inserts. So, without further ado, let's get at it. All right, so in here we have, some of the league leader cards, which are big dollar cards, but I love these cards, as I've told you in the past. Big fan of these cards because they usually include numerous Hall of Famers. So you've got Yastrzemski. Yastrzemski is in this all over the place, and so is Hank Aaron. So Bob Clemente, Roberto Clemente cards. Yaz certainly is in this a lot because Yaz had a killer year, won the Triple Crown in 1967, so he's all over the 1968 League Leaders cards, right? So here's his RBI Leaders card with Killebrew and Frank Robinson. Here's him with the Home Run Leaders card with Killebrew and Frank Howard. And, of course, here, batting leaders with Frank Robinson and Al Kaline. All right, so I love these cards because they always contain multiple Hall of Famers on them. And, I just dig these cards, man. They're old, and they have all of these all-time greats in the cards, on the cards, So let's get to some of the big dogs that we have and don't have in this set. Someone told me, or at least according to Trading Card Database, there's Tom Seaver. Didn't realize I had this card. Was excited to know I have this card. It's in a little less than VG condition, but nice to have. Didn't realize I had Tom Seaver, so I was excited about that. Denny McLain. This is not a big dog card, but it is, in that $10 to $15 range raw, according to the database. Another big one, Willie Mays. So I picked this one. I might have picked this one up this summer, but I'm not sure. if I already had it or if I just picked up a version of this card. But there's the Willie Mays. The next big one that I wasn't sure I had, but as I was going through the binder, I knew I had most of this set. Okay, so I kind of went into it with that. And this is the card I wasn't aware that I had. Rod Carew. Believe this is his first solo card, if I'm correct about that. So that's his first solo card. And some other ones here. There's a couple here that I would like to feature. Gaylord Perry. The card's got some snowing on it. And Willie Stargell. Again, one of those things that I never really understood, but Willie Stargell just doesn't get the love that maybe he deserves. Rocky Calavito. And so this was one of the cards that the database showed is among the tops. So Bob Gibson. This one is about a $15 card raw. So that's a bigger card. Then the next big one was Hank Aaron. Didn't realize I had a 68 Hank Aaron, but there it is. If I'm correct, I picked this card up one time. I was set up at the flea market and a guy brought in a shoebox. And it had a ton of Hank Aaron, ton of Pete Rose, and other assorted stars from the 60s. Not the 50s, but the 60s and early 70s. So, and we worked out a deal. We sort of went back and forth, and we worked out a deal on those, and it was just a great score for me that day. Because I love buying these cards, even if it's at a slight discount, is always good because some of these cards, as you guys know, can become very, very expensive. So the next card that you would be looking for in the set is card number 150, and that's Roberto Clemente, and I don't have his base. And then after that, of course, the biggest card in the set is the Nolan Ryan, and there's the empty spot for Nolan Ryan. I do not have a Nolan Ryan rookie card. It is a card I've been chasing for, as long as I can remember. I've had people tell me that come into the flea market and tell me I've got a Nolan Ryan rookie, and I say, I'd like to see it, bring it down, I'll go to you. I'm just looking to acquire one, and it just doesn't seem to happen. So if you guys are looking to part with one, let me know. Maybe we can work something out. Then let's see. The next card, another guy who doesn't get as much love from the hobby as he should, Juan Marichal. So I'll kind of sort of, if I see somebody, I'll mention it. But I'm trying to stick to the main cards as identified by Harmon Killebrew. So this set is loaded with stars. I mean, right? It's like the end of an era and the beginning of a new era. So you've got all these great players laden up and down this set. Which brings us to the next guy, Pete Rose. I think this was also acquired in that purchase for, that shoebox of cards and top loaders. And I mean, as you can see, not a perfect Pete Rose, but nice centering, presents well. It's got some corner issues especially on the bottom two corners, but a nice Pete Rose. Beautiful. All right, and we got some other guys that would deserve a mention. Ron Santo, Tug McGraw, Al Kaline. He is on the list. All right, so there's Al Kaline. And then probably the second biggest rookie in the set, Johnny Bench. So this I actually picked up off of Craigslist. A guy said he had a bunch of old cards. Now, as you guys may know, if you are hunters of cards, you may know that when somebody says, I've got a bunch of old cards, they usually just mean the 1990s. Because, well, the 1990s were 30 years ago. But not the cards we're looking for when we think of old cards. We're thinking 50s, 60s, and, maybe even pre-war stuff. But just some really humdingers in here. Carl Yastrzemski is another one. This card is in less than stellar condition, but not bad. And then, of course, the next card that's missing is the Mick. Now, it amazes me, I guess, to some degree, how many Mickey Mantles people have on, YouTube videos that I watch and, reveals and stuff. And I'm always looking for Mickey Mantle, and you don't usually run into the stuff. So, at least I don't. Clearly other people do, and that's great. But I'm still looking for some of my Mickeys. I'm willing to pay up for them, but just I haven't run into the right deal. I have my 64 mantle and some other mantles that I've that are usually like leader cards, but that's about it. So Tim McCarver. And then I don't want to miss the next guy I was looking for, which was... That'll be a few over. So we got a couple of other guys, Jim Brewer. So I'm going to point out some cards when I see them of some semi-stars. Louis Aparicio. I don't want to make this a 15 or 40-minute video. I just want to hit some of the key players. But this was another card that was on the list. So, Roger Maris. I couldn't begin to tell you when I picked this card up, if it was in that lot with like stars or if I just picked it up randomly, but I do have it, so I was kind of excited about that. I didn't think I did. I knew I had a lot of cards because I knew I didn't need many, but I just didn't know which. I knew I needed Ryan, and I knew I needed Mickey Mantle. So those are my big ones. There's Hoyt Wilhelm, and that brings us to the All-Star cards. So I think I have all the All-Star cards. So we have Harmon Killebrew, Cepeda, Rod Carew, Santo, Brooks Robinson, Fregosi, Gene Alley, and Yastrzemski. Now, the Yastrzemski is on the list of cards over $15. Again, because of the year that Yastrzemski had that year, but this one is mangled. If you guys can see that, there's some pretty heavy creasing in the bottom of that card all throughout it. So not an ideal card, but it'll... And there's, of course, the backs have the Yastrzemski puzzle. Frank Robinson, Bob Clemente. Didn't think I had that card. That's another card that was on the list. So that was a good one to have. And Hank Aaron, All-Star card. And I guess my surprise, as I've been kind of revisiting my vintage sets, is how many Clementes and Hank Aaron's I have. I just really didn't think I had as many as I happen to have. All right, so then that brings us to, we got Boog Powell. All right, another rookie stars card. Let's kind of skip ahead here to Steve Carlton. He's another big one. Not a big dollar card, probably like $25, but this one's solid. This is a solid card. Not really a lot of wrong with it in that card. Fergie Jenkins is another one that's over $10. Mickey Lolich. So this particular set is a very expensive set, predominantly because of Ryan. The Nolan Ryan really kind of dictates the value of the set, and then you throw in Mickey Mantle, and it sort of all snowballs from there in terms of what makes this set expensive. And then I apparently need a whole bunch of either semi-stars or commons, but I haven't really even looked at the numbers because I didn't realize I was this close. I thought I was maybe 30 cards away. I'm really only 18 cards away, so I've got to start really hammering on this set. Jim Longborg, Gentleman Jim, and Orlando Pena, sorry. I know I've done that before. Joe Niekro. So you need to see the set's filled with a lot of semi-stars that really could make the set add up in a hurry. This is an expensive card. Was it at? On the database, this card apparently raw sells for around 25 to 30. So Tony Olivo, Chico, and Bob Clemente. And obviously Clemente carries that card. See what else. So I'm missing the Superstars card, which has Mantle on it. I'm missing card 500, which is Frank Robinson. And then to kind of close out the cards I do have, it's Lou Brock. And then I'm missing Frank and Brooks Robinson together, which is card 530. But, overall, I'd say I'm in kind of decent shape. This Tigers team card also sells pretty well. That's interesting. I didn't know that until I sort of looked it up. Wes Parker, who's famous for the Brady Bunch, and of course, playing baseball. Louis Tiant, when he was with the Indians. And lastly, what I want to do is hit some of the cards in the, trying to skip through to them, the cards in the game inserts. So let's hit those. So here we go. And I'm sorry for the little bit of a shadow, but that's caused by the shadow here from the binder. But I have some big ones here. You got Killebrew, Henry Aaron, Roberto Clemente, Carl Yastrzemski, Brooks Robinson, and these are in pretty decent shape overall. Willie Mays, Frank Robinson. So the only guy I'm missing on the first page on this is Mickey Mantle. Surprise, surprise. Bill Feehan. Jim Longborg. Gary Peters. Dean Chance, Mike McCormick, Tim McCarver. And the guy I'm missing on the second page, I'm not sure who that is. Maybe Pete Rose. That would sound right. Ron Santo, Frank Howard, Richie Allen, Gary Scott, Gene Alley, Rick Monday, and Al Kaline. Nope, it's not Pete Rose because there's Pete Rose. All right, Pete. We've already established that we're missing Rod Carew, that we're missing Hank Aaron, and I'm not sure who the other guy is. That'd be interesting to figure that out. I'm not going to try to do that on the fly right now, but so some really nice cards in this, and I would really love to complete this master set. There is also a proof that came from this that was another card of Tom Seaver. You saw the Tom Seaver card. It's basically a headshot of Tom Seaver with the gold rookie cup. Well, there's a proof card that exists out there. I do not know how rare it is, but it's Tom Seaver in action with the rookie gold cup. So if you guys know anything about that card, please throw it down in the comments because I love to be educated about that. And if you know who number 10 is, I mean, I'll figure it out right after the video is over. But if you know who number 10 is in the game series, let me know because I'm also missing that card there. All right. So these are the ball game cards. So the key cards in this set, we've gone through them. The main rookies are Mike Torres, Nolan Ryan, and Johnny Bench. Believe I have Torres and Bench. I don't have Ryan, so he remains my all-time quest. Well, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy the content, please comment, like, subscribe, share. All of it helps the channel. Big fan of. I really appreciate you guys for giving me your time and watching these videos. One last thing. I do have a ton of baseball that I'm going to start to go through from a 16 and 17 monster box collection. I've gone through hockey. I've gone through basketball. Most of the basketball is gone. I've gone through football. Most of the football is gone. I'd say about 3/4 of the football is gone. A lot of stuff from the 90s. So if you guys are missing a card from some random set and I have it, I'd be glad to send it to you for nothing. I'm trying to move these cards out, and if I could help one of my subscribers finish a set, I'm all for that. So, if you can reach out in the comments. You can also reach out to my email, which I'll put in the description below. And I'll put some other stuff in the description below. But you can always reach out to me on my eBay store. You could certainly, I'll put my email in the description below. You can message me that way. So if you're looking for 5 cards from a particular set from the 90s, especially baseball, because I'd say half of those 33 monster boxes was baseball. And if I have it, I may have it, I may not have it. But if I have it, it's yours. I'm not going to hold out for the 5 or 10 cents that these cards sell for. We all know what the 90s are all about, just mass production. If you made it all the way through to this, to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. Always a pleasure. doing these videos, and I'm discovering a lot. So it's very helpful to me as well. So thanks, guys, so much. And as always, happy hunting. Thanks. Bye-bye.